Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Joseph.
Hello.
And Jehu.
That was like a good call off a cliff.
Yeah, there was like a descent to it.
Yeah, I added special effects this time.
That's funny. This week, discussing Netflix's latest release, Enola Holmes. This is about what, Sherlock Holmes' little sister? Is this an established character? Does anybody know?
So no, it is not. I was curious
Okay.
about that also. It is not in any way canonical to the original Arthur Conan Doyle stories, but it's based off a series of novels by Nancy Springer called like The Mysteries of Enola Holmes or something like that.
Gotcha. Her mom goes missing, and she sets out on an adventure to find her and ends up solving another mystery along the way. A lot of famous people in this movie.
Well, yes, there were, but also a lot of familiar faces to Netflix.
Yeah, well, I had this problem where, since we all just watched all the Harry Potter movies, and I've been watching Doctor Who, I could name every single cast member in this movie.
I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because we'll get into it, but this movie felt a lot like a Harry Potter movie to me.
It kind of does. I can see that.
I can see it definitely leaning into trying to get some of that Harry Potter action.
Yeah. We got Millie Bobby Brown, most famous from being 11 from Stranger Things, with a not-shaved head. I have no idea if she still has a shaved head in the show because I stopped watching it.
She does not, but
No,
keep going.
She does not yet. Yeah, she gave up on that a while ago.
Fair enough. Henry Cavill, Superman, previously, formerly, and possibly again. But in this one, just a man pretending like he can fit into regular suits.
Yeah, that was a big question mark going into the movie. How does Henry Cavill wear a three-piece suit? Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't look like it makes sense. Helena Bonham Carter, who I think was in The Crown.
She has been. She's been in a lot of things, but that
Well,
is a recent Netflix thing, to your point.
Exactly, that is my point. I don't know if Sam Claflin has been in anything recently. I should say who these people are. So Millie Bobby Brown is Enola Holmes, the younger sister of Sherlock and Mycroft Holmes. Much younger, it seems like. At least 10 years difference. Henry Cavill is the famous Sherlock Holmes, already well established in this universe at this time. Helena Bonham Carter is their mother, whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head. And Sam Claflin, I think most famous for being the handsome guy from The Hunger Games that wasn't Liam Hemsworth, is Mycroft Holmes in a very unhandsome, charming role.
Right.
And then the only other people that I wanted to mention is Lewis Partridge, who was Tewksbury, the love interest and subject of the mystery of this movie, and fucking Burn Gorman, whose name is Burn Gorman.
Yeah, spoilers for later on in the movie, but the face he makes when he dies is the most Burn Gorman face possible.
That's true.
I hope that guy never plays a good guy.
I can't think of a time. Well, no, actually, I can't think of one time he did.
Oh, that's wrong. I hope it was bad.
It's a favorite of the podcast. He's a good guy in Pacific Rim.
Oh, no,
He
you're
is.
right. Oh, no, he's pretty good at that. Okay, fair enough.
The only one I really wanted to throw out was Fiona Shaw, who famously played Aunt Petunia in the Harry Potter series. It was good to see her. I don't know her in much, but she was just as wicked in this as she is in Harry Potter.
Right. It was basically just show up and do that thing you do.
Yep.
And there's also the headmistress of the girls' school in Harry Potter was the grandmother in this.
Madame
Maxine. Yeah.
Not as tall as she is in Harry Potter.
No, not as tall. You know, when I was trying to recognize her, I was forced to think about the fact that in the Harry Potter world, I feel like half giant dating has got to be like the hardest, the slimmest pool to choose from.
True. Yeah.
Because like even in that movie, Madame Maxine is like 1.5 times the size of Hagrid. But he still might be the closest that she's come, because it seems like in that world, giants are really, really big. And people are really, really small, and half giants can be anywhere in between.
Indeed.
I thought it was important to go over the mechanics here. I feel like it would be a challenging life to live. Anyway, Enola Holmes.
Yeah, I just want to say we can edit this out, but when you said Hagrid is the closest till she can come, I wanted to make a dirty joke, but I stopped myself.
Oh no, I'm gonna leave that in.
So what did we think of this movie?
I thought it was pretty fun. I didn't really have a lot of expectations going into it. It looked kind of. I mean, look, Netflix doesn't have a great track record of making like quality movies. You know, unless you count Roma, and Roma in its own way is kind of a non-quality quality movie. But I like the people that are involved, and watching the movie, it had kind of this fun, family-friendly action-adventure feel that I just don't feel like is, I don't know, I don't feel like it makes it to the big screen that much these days. Like, I mean, we talked about, I had mentioned the Harry Potter movies. It reminds me a lot of the Harry Potter movies. But if I was to take it out of that kiddie genre, I mean, the closest I could think of is something like a, no, I can't think of it. What's the Charlie Cox movie with Star something? Stardust, like a Stardust, but, you know, not fantasy. But like that like vibe, that amount of fun and levity in the world.
What you were trying to say, the best way I could think of was to myself was like, this reminds me of a movie from the 90s. And not necessarily because it has any sort of like stereotypical 90s things, but just because they haven't really made movies like this much since then. Sort of a live action period piece kids movie for girls. Like that's something we're pretty far removed from.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like this movie quite a bit. I thought it was kind of exactly what you guys are saying. Like, I enjoy the family-friendly adventure film, and I don't think we have enough of them. And this is a pretty good version of that. If I were disappointed at all, it's because I really wanted this movie to be like, and this is a deep cut, young Sherlock Holmes. Have you guys ever seen that movie?
Yes,
I'm aware of its existence.
Yeah.
It's insane, and I wish this movie were more like that, but that's just personal opinion. I liked it a lot, and I thought the cast was pretty good. Kind of to your low expectations, Joseph. I'm really not a fan of any of these people that's not Helena Bonham Carter.
I was about to say.
But I thought they were all pretty good in this. Surprisingly, Sam Claflin as Dick Mycroft was probably my favorite part.
He's pretty good at it.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the PG version of Guy Pearce in Lawless.
I can see that. That. I thought it was interesting. Sam Claflin is actually younger than Henry Cavill, but plays his older brother.
I saw that. Yeah, I mean, Millie Bobby Brown is good. I really liked the young kid. That was the Tewksbury kid. I thought he was really good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen him in anything else. But yeah, I know we've talked on the podcast before about the fact that Henry Cavill's a bit of he's a hard guy to peg down.
Right.
In the sense that I feel like he's got a natural presence on screen in a lot of movies. I don't know that he's ever going to be like a character actor that really gets into the role, but I feel like, screen presence is enough. I feel like he pulls that off really well in Mission Impossible, but then there are other things like The Witcher where he's boring as fuck. But he's good in this. I feel like it was a lot of a reaction. I don't know if reaction is the right word, but reaction to kind of the Sherlock we've had over the last 10 years, 10, 15 years, since House, really. The House archetype through, the Guy Ritchie films, through the Benedict Cumberbatch, just this like unbelievable asshole, but so smart you can't ignore that he's right all the time kind of character. And I feel like they still kind of keep that in the sense that he is still really smart, but they also kind of focus on his myopicness in the sense that he can't see past the mystery and can't see the world around him, which I think was kind of an interesting take to put to the character.
I also feel like there's been so much like lent to Sherlock being just alone and an asshole all the time, that it was nice for, number one, to him not start off being an asshole, but two, learn as the film continues, like the importance of having people around him. Like there's just been, especially, Cumberbatch's Sherlock is, as much as I love that show, he's insufferable. I think it was nice to have a more approachable Sherlock Holmes than we've seen.
I agree. So there are a few things, there are minor complaints that I think keep this movie from being really good, in my opinion, which is frustrating because I think it was pretty close to being really good. In general, I feel like the dialogue was hit and miss at various points, But my real issue with the movie is the length of the movie, but I don't want to get too far into it until we go into spoilers. Do we have anything else we want to get into before we get into spoilers?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to say about it is that, going into it, I kind of expected to be annoyed by it was basically going to be a boy action movies for girls. Because I'm tired of trying to make that happen. Like, it's one of those things that it's like, I think it's supposed to be against sexism, but it becomes its own sexist thing. Like, the definition of equality is a girl starring in a boy movie.
Right.
But it wasn't that. Of course, there were action elements and it was boy friendly, but this was definitely a movie for girls. So I liked that aspect of it.
Fair enough. I would argue it's a movie for everyone.
but yeah.
I know what you mean, though. I completely get what you're saying.
If they still made DVDs, they could put your quote on the box.
I have a friend, Jehu, who she really likes this movie. She's real big into the term femme gaze. That there are not enough movies that are like kind of what you're talking about, like what we've changed the term feminism to be, while also fulfilling feminine fantasy at the same time. And she's a big fan of this film because she thinks it accomplishes it really well. And like a scene like the corset scene is a good example of that, where like, yes, it has this negative connotation of suffrage and stuff like that, but also like there's this advantage, and so there are it checks multiple boxes, and from at least the women I've talked to who have seen it, they really appreciate what you're talking about with this movie.
Right. But if we're okay with it, my spoilers from here on out. My biggest problem with the movie is I think it's just too long, and I think the biggest problem is so the plot of the movie here is Enola Holmes is like, what is she, like, supposed to be 16-ish, I think, in this movie.
Yes.
And she's being raised and taught by her mother, who's Helena Bonham Carter, who's kind of this eccentric, smart, but I don't know, I guess inconsistent woman is the best way I can put it. She's just kind of all over the place, and so she's had kind of an unorthodox education, but Enola is naturally gifted like her siblings. One day her mother disappears, and her brothers are, one, seemingly only like half-heartedly interested in finding her, and two, want to send Enola to like a boarding school. So Enola goes off to find her mother, but in the process meets this young Tewksbury and gets involved in that whole mystery and excitement and whatever. My biggest issue is, I feel like this movie was absolutely clamoring. I mean, like, wants to be a franchise real bad.
Oh, they said there's 5 films planned.
Right. Okay. Great. That's fine. I'm bothered by the fact that, like, I think the whole after the completion of the Tewksbury mystery, that should have been the end of the movie for me. The fact that she reunited with her mom at all at the end of this movie bothers me.
One of my complaints was going to be is too many endings. It has 3 endings.
I felt satisfied, even if at the end of the movie it had just been her seeing the message from her mom. If there's no other movie we see there's hope, we know that her mom's alive and she's communicating with her, whatever. If there is another movie, you further that out. She keeps looking for her mom, but gets dragged into another adventure, which, I mean, is kind of what happened, but I just don't feel like the actual reunion contributed anything besides 10 minutes of screen time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, after watching Return of the King, I guess multiple endings don't bother me. But I was kind of hoping they would... I don't know, it's tough. I was hoping they would save that for a sequel, but I also was like, I'm going to be a little bit annoyed if this like ends on a cliffhanger, because there's no guarantee with Netflix we would even get a second one.
Right.
They cancel shit left and right. So, but I mean, yeah, it was kind of a nuisance. I was surprised that when I turned it on that the movie was like 2 hours and 12 minutes or something. I was like, oh, this is way longer than I expected.
Yeah, I watched it while I was working today, and I started way late in the day because I expected this to be like a 90-minute movie, and I literally finished it right before we started. So it's
real fresh for you.
Yeah, it's real fresh for me, totally.
Very good.
So where was did you guys look up if there's even any definitive answer of where this is supposed to be, sort of in the Sherlock Holmes timeline?
I don't think it is in the official Sherlock Holmes timeline. Based on the IMDb trivia, people are assuming it's before Sherlock met Watson, which is before any of the books, I guess, theoretically happen.
I mean, I guess that's what I was going to ask about, is where was Watson?
Right.
I guess this is before Watson happened, which early on, I had decided that when we first met Tewksbury, I was like, oh, this is Moriarty's son. That's what's going to be the completion of this. This kid is evil and he's Moriarty's son. As soon as he said, my dad's dead too, I was like, oh, that's what this is going to be. But then obviously, as you went further on, it seemed that this was way earlier in the Sherlock Holmes timeline to be that.
Yeah. Also, that kid had great hair. He had great hair before and after the haircut, but I really liked his hair before the haircut.
Yeah, I agree, totally. He had Harry Potter 4 hair.
he had like the next level of Harry Potter 4 hair. If Harry Potter 5 had been the natural extension of Harry Potter 4, it would have been that hair. Let's talk about Harry Potter more on this episode, guys.
My prediction in watching it, and this is probably totally off base, was I was like, oh, Dr. Watson's never going to actually exist, and somehow that's just going to be a persona Enola uses when they question why Sherlock has a female assistant, because she pretends to be a boy a lot in this, and so I thought,
that's true.
I do hope cross-dressing, if they make more of them, I hope cross-dressing is like an enduring theme over the course of them.
I want to know if Henry Cavill can get into a dress now, since we've questioned if he can get in a 3-piece suit.
I would pay good money to see
way.
That. Right. Is there anything else we really want to talk about with this one?
Gosh, we got through it quick.
I mean, there's not too much to it. It's a pretty fun, family-friendly affair.
Yeah, it's not complex.
I know that I was, I'm not really good at this, like the film analysis, seeing like the themes and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like they did a good job in this one of really, like, the color red was used like consistently for like female empowerment throughout the entire movie, from like the little sashes that Enola's mom's secret cabal wore to the color of the fireworks, to the color of a lot of stuff, but most notably is Enola's dress that she gets once she comes to London to kind of hide in plain sight. But I know I know a lot of movies do that, and I'm sure that I've missed it in many of our other things, but it was something that I noticed and was like, oh yeah, that's kind of a cool thing that they chose to do in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know, this movie I think is really just set out to have a good time with your family on a Friday night, and that's an important role to fill, and this movie accomplishes it really, really well. And I'm happy to see someone out there actually making movies like this.
Agreed.
Yeah, one of the things that I thought of while seeing it was not necessarily that I wish that I saw this in a movie theater, but I wish more things like this were still in the movie theater for me to not see.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wish that, I'm not saying I don't want to just continue watching dumb superhero movies in the theater, but I do watching this is like, well, I miss when there was more than just what I liked at the movie theater. Basically, I'm wondering if I've ruined the world.
I think we've ruined the world.
Personally. Yeah, not me personally, but, I as in my type of person.
A collective unit.
Right.
There's a good Mark Maron bit on that in his most recent stand-up special.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like this was really popular for a long time, and I want to know why we went away from it. Like, didn't Jerry Bruckheimer get rich by making this type of movie? Why don't we have them anymore? Is it just because theaters as a whole, or what we're seeing in theaters as a whole, is kind of a dying breed? Like, I don't know. This would be a fun movie to see in theaters, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see this as being like, a fun movie to bring your whole family to.
Right. And once again, going for your quote on the imaginary DVD box.
Can we talk about the fact that Helena Bonham Carter was absolutely a domestic terrorist in this?
100%.
She was.
Because, I was really expecting there to be a turn at some point. It's like, oh, no, we were going to use this as, like, a demonstration. There was, going to be a plan for it. And then when Enola confronts her about it, she's just like, oh, well, we didn't have to do it because you just fixed it. But yeah, we were totally going to blow that shit up.
Yeah. We were definitely going to do that shit.
She's the Guy Fawkes of women's suffrage.
100%. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
It's an aggressive turn.
I just want to say, why is she so great in every freaking thing she's in? Like, she's in this movie like 15 total minutes, and every time I have a smile on my face. Like, I just enjoy her so much.
I mean, I would agree with that. She does, like, say compared to Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill isn't really given a lot to do, and he mostly sells it just by, like, I'm handsome and charismatic, so here I am, and you buy I'm Sherlock Holmes. With her, she's also not given a lot to do, but it's a lot more engaging.
Yeah.
There is a ship going around on the internet of Sherlock and the black jiu-jitsu lady instructor,
Cool.
and God, I hope we get it. Like that.
Why not? Well, that's Enola Holmes. If you're looking for something just lighthearted, if you're looking for some lighthearted fun murder,
Right.
watch this movie.
There really isn't murder in it. I guess
There's just the one.
there's the.
But we'll leave it as a surprise for anybody who's made it this far and hasn't seen it.
Yeah, we kind of spoiled it, but it's better than Transformers. I'd be totally down if they made another one of these.
Yeah, me too.
I also think it's better than Transformers. I also want them to make another one of these, but be better in the editing room. It's just not that. I understand with Netflix, runtime doesn't matter that much. You don't have to fit more in a theater in a day, but it does actually matter.
Do we know if this was originally made by another studio and Netflix bought it?
I mean, that's usually how it works.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened. Which
They
is
usually just buy it for distribution, and they don't produce it from beginning to end.
Yeah, normally it happens to shitty movies like Cloverfield Paradox movie, but
Yeah.
I guess maybe COVID influenced this one. They didn't want to sit on it, but
What was it going to do in the actual theaters anyway? This is probably a better release for it.
Right.
that's probably true.
But cool, yeah, that's Enola Holmes, guys. It's a fun time. If you haven't watched it, go on Netflix and watch it. In the meantime, what have we been watching this past week, guys?
I will start. I had two things I wanted to talk about. I went back to a video game I started but never finished, Uncharted 3. Because I really did not like it to begin with.
Yep.
Like the first third of it, I was not into, but that back half is pretty good.
Is it though?
Well, I think that 2 and 1 are really samey, like gameplay wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 really tries to give you something different, and I appreciated that a whole lot. It is, though, a lot of, man, here's a big open area with shipping containers, and here's 500 dudes.
Yeah, for sure. My biggest issue with that one is narratively, it's the least cohesive, I think, of the games. Like, the demise of the villains at the end is super unsatisfying. It just feels random and arbitrary to me.
I think that's true for most of the plot of it, actually. Because, there are stakes that are supposedly there, but I don't feel them as the player. And even some of the characters in the game don't feel it. Because there's 5 cutscenes where they're just like, Drake, are you sure you want to do this? You can just walk away. Whereas before it was like, the world will end if the bad guys get it.
Well, so that's spoiler for anyone who hasn't played this game. Just chill out, tune out for a few seconds. Do you think Sully was supposed to die in this game? Because I think he absolutely was supposed to die in this game.
100%. Sully, the whole time. And I knew Sully was.
They telegraph it so hard.
Yep. Nope. Yep. It made me mad that he didn't.
And they bait and switch you, and it's so dumb. And oh god, this game made me so bad.
They bait and switch you twice.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, it's very annoying. But no, I think I do appreciate the challenges, like having those fight scenes while also being in the water or trying to escape the sinking ship. And
the ship is really cool.
Yeah.
That's fair.
After they get to Yemen, I think that's where they go. I'm pretty into it. The first 30 or 40% though is a slog.
I think I didn't have any problems with it mechanically. I think I just had issues with the fact that it was just a really dumb story and that it didn't pay off to anything.
Yeah, I plan on starting the 4th one.
It's really good.
Hopefully this weekend, but it might be a couple weeks. The only other thing I wanted to talk about, it's because it's been a few weeks, is Critical Role's got fucking nuts.
Oh, wait, hang on. Are you caught up?
I'm all the way caught up.
Fuck, I'm not caught up, but I have an idea of what's happening because Twitter ruins things for me.
Yeah, so I can no longer wait until Monday. I have to watch it because Twitter ruins everything. And, I mean, to be fair, this is not really a huge twist. It's something a lot of people have been predicting for a long time. But, man, it took a few episodes for, I think, them to get back in their groove. But the last, like...
They were for those who don't watch the show, they were off, for a long period because of the quarantine. They usually do their recording, like, in a studio with a bunch of people. And so it took them a long time to get set up. So, yeah, they were definitely rusty the first, 2 weeks back.
Yeah, I think they were just excited to play and be all together again, and it was goofy and zany. But the last 3 or 4 episodes have just been really good.
Yeah,
and there's been some really good payoff from campaign 1. There's been some really good payoff from storylines that are from the very beginning of the campaign. I don't know, man. It's reinvigorated my enjoyment for it. Not that I was ever really waning, but it reminds me a lot of how I felt at the end of campaign 1, and I'm just happy it's back.
I am curious. I think the big end game here. I know we're searching for lost wizard cities from a million years ago, but I feel like the big end game here is finding the origin of the Dunamancy, which is the time travel magic in this universe.
Yeah, I definitely think, there's a lot there because, number one, we don't know anything about it, and Matt created all of it, so that seems like a natural ending. But number two, even kind of what you're talking about, the search for, ancient wizard tools and magic, it was all created to take gods down or whatever. And,
yeah.
That seems really connected with this secret origin of a god we didn't know about. Yeah, I don't know. It seems...
I feel like we're closing in on the end game. I don't think we're there, but I feel like we're 3 or 4 arcs away from the end game.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Chroma Conclave arc that Vox Machina had. I don't feel like we've gotten to this big 40+ episode arc yet, and I feel like it's coming probably very soon. How far behind are you?
I'm just half an episode behind. I'm working on the most recent one.
What did you think of Caleb's Mansion?
It's great. I know Matt didn't have to talk for an hour. It's great.
Yeah.
For since you haven't listened or watched any of this, in the first campaign, they spend, I don't know, it is probably 40 episodes, 30, 40 episodes. There are a bunch of individual arcs, but then there's this connective tissue where they're kind of putting these pieces together of this looming threat kind of thing.
Right.
And then right around episode 40, you're oh, this is really ramping up. We're about to do something here. It's about to be big. And then boom, something completely different happens that destroys everything. And that's the next 40 episodes. And then after that, they come back to where they started. And then there's another catastrophe. But it's it's such brilliant storytelling because you're really sure that this is where it's going. And then it just knocks you across the jaw with something else.
Right on.
Yeah, it's the best. That's it.
That's good. I like it. Hurt.
When we were talking about this week's episode, what was we were going between 2 Netflix movies. What was the murder movie? Yeah.
The Devil All the Time.
The Devil All the Time. Yeah. I definitely, the reason I didn't want to do another dark sort of thing like that is because the main thing I've been watching is The Vow. Have you guys watched any of this?
No.
It's basically, a lot like Wild Wild Country from last year. It's a show about, a documentary about a cult. But this is specifically the cult that probably everyone knows the most about right now, the one where the chick from Smallville was involved in sex trafficking and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's very good, but it's not fun.
Yeah.
Wild Wild Country, there's a part in maybe the first 2 episodes of Wild Wild Country where it's I could have totally got caught up in this. This seems pretty fun until it takes the turn.
When they have the orgy and then turn around and beat the shit out of each other in Wild Wild Country, I was I get it. I can see it.
Right. But there's never a point like that in this. It just seems like multi-level marketing. populated only by the most annoying youth minister at your church.
Oh,
Like it's just so, and there's never a point where I was like, oh, this would have probably been fun to be in for a while. It just seems like people who only got into it to advance themselves, and so there's not a lot of sympathy. That being said, some of the stuff that happens to the people in it is, truly fucking awful. So, I recommend it on a quality base, but I'm not recommending it if you want to feel good. Another thing, one more thing I have to say about it. The guy who's at the head of it is exactly my least favorite type person on earth. He's exactly the dude who, thinks that, oh, if the pretty girl just got to know me, she would want to be with me. But he made a cult around that. And you can really see it because, like, there's all these semi-famous girls who get involved, and they're all like the obtainable girl from the sci-fi show. You know what I'm saying? They're like, it's never like the hot android from the sci-fi show. It's like the plucky sort of just cute on the show, but in real life is still a model type girl. Those are all the women he targets. It's a super gross show.
To follow up, Jehu, I forgot that I had also watched an HBO documentary. I've been avoiding The Vow for exactly what you're talking about. It just seems so depressing.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I watched another one that I thought would be interesting and then also ended up being depressing, which was Agents of Chaos, which is about the Russian troll farm.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours long. At the end of, my wife got really, really into it, and she's like, so how the hell do we trust anybody on the internet? And I was like, you can't. Like, moral of the story is that you cannot. Like, the internet's just fake. It's deeply, like, just disturbing in that this shit's still happening, and people are dumb enough to fall for it. And I don't know. It was sad.
I'm glad I didn't watch that one because basically my whole worldview right now is being pissed off about shit like that. So I probably would have, had a fucking stroke or something.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't watched that much this week. I watched, for my Ghibli film, we're getting close to the end, but we're also past the good ones. I watched a movie called Only Yesterday, which is one of the less fantastical ones in their repertoire. It's about a woman in her late 20s who goes on a vacation to the countryside while reminiscing about her childhood, which is exactly as exciting as it sounds. Nothing really happens. Some of the childhood bits, I think, do a pretty good job of like kind of capturing that feeling of being like the anxieties of being a kid that are kind of hard to place. But outside of that, it's mostly just boring. It's just not very good. So it is currently my lowest ranked Ghibli film. I don't recommend it. Only Yesterday. Don't watch it. And then the only other thing I watched or played really is for my anniversary this year. My wife got me The Last of Us 2 because I was too cheap to buy it myself. And I know I've talked on this podcast before. The Last of Us 1 is a really spectacular game. One of my very favorites, if not, my favorite game. And it's so, speaking to Christian's thing, Naughty Dog is the same company that makes Uncharted. And I just feel like narratively, Uncharted, I think, is head and shoulders above quite a lot of the competition. But there's just like nothing even remotely in the same caliber to me as these games, the Last of Us games. I know it's dumb to say about a video game, but the acting in these games, the scenes that they put together for these games are fucking incredible. Like, the gameplay is fun. I certainly, I don't know if I'm a good or terrible. I'm a terrible post-apocalyptic scavenger to watch because I fucking go everywhere and look at everything. So it's just me running along walls all the time. But it's a really beautiful world. The combat's fun, but it's just such a compelling narrative with compelling characters. It's just really hard not to just want to keep playing it, which is what I've been doing since I got it. Better than Transformers. I'll let you know how it ends. Also, I was amazed at how much it hadn't been spoiled for me, and I'm going to continue to stay off the internet, even though I want to read more stuff about it until I'm finished with it.
Good luck.
Thanks. But that's it. Do we?
No, we don't have a plan. Don't even ask. We don't have.
It's possible that you guys have things that you want to talk about. I don't know. Maybe we all just want to watch cult documentaries and reconvene next week. It
You know,
seems I'm the odd man out.
I've continued not talking about Tenet in what we're watching because I thought at some point maybe you guys might watch it as well.
What is it?
Tenet.
Oh, Tenet.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
I just have no interest in watching another Christopher Nolan film. I'm just like done with that guy. We could talk about how much I don't want to watch Christopher Nolan anymore next week. That's my pitch for a topic.
Actually, I'd be interested in that. I'd be interested where you started to feel like that, where was the hard turn, and where was the never going back. I got a feeling it's all going to be Interstellar.
Surprising. It's earlier than that, but I'll table it for another topic.
Let's take the basic white guy journey through movies.
I feel like it's the anti-white guy version because most white dudes love Christopher Nolan.
That's why I said it's a journey. It's important to put away your childish things as you get older.
When I was a child, I spoke
what this
like
podcast is about.
For sure.
That's a good point. Anyway, something next week. We'll do some kind of podcast next week. Thank you for listening. If you guys have any thoughts on Enola Holmes that we didn't talk about or stories that you'd like to see adapted in the future, but if you want to reach us, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies and on Instagram at real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys next week.
Later.